So wrestling family, if you met someone who has never watched wrestling a day in their life in any promotion, what match would you show them to get them into it? Well, I think I got a really good one in mind. Let's get into it. What's going on, wrestling family? Welcome back to the channel. And before we get into the conversation, you guys know what to do. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, join the family. And I also want to give a salute to Cameron Wrestling, who left this comment in the community tab that inspired this entire video. And I felt like this made more sense to make it a video itself and a great conversation amongst you guys. And also, I would love to know what you guys would show a person who has never watched wrestling before. Let me know in the comment section. So now let's get into my pick. So I had to run my decision through a lot of filters before coming to a conclusion, and we got to remember, this person has never watched wrestling a day in their lives, which means they don't understand the rules, they don't know what in-ring psychology is, they don't know or care about these wrestlers, let alone the storyline leading up to this match itself, which means we cannot use that to enhance the experience for them, and they probably do not understand the legacy of each wrestler here. So I tried to pick a match that's very entertaining, where you have to explain very little to them as they're watching it, and the match that I'm picking is one of my favorite matches to watch over and over of all time, and that is TLC at WrestleMania 17 with the Dudleys, the Hardys, and Edge and Christian. Now, the reason why I picked this match as opposed to one of my favorite matches, Austin versus Bret Hart at WrestleMania 13, is because TLC at WrestleMania 17 is really easy to understand, as opposed to the traditional wrestling matches where you have a pin and you have submissions. Then you got to explain what is considered a pin, what's the different types of pins and submissions, and what the referees can say. What is a DQ? What is a rope break? What is a count out? Which is all great things if you're trying to teach them wrestling one-on-one, but I tried to pick a match that covers all bases. Whether they're sitting there watching it with me or watching it by themselves at home, they can understand it and enjoy it as well. Because what a ladder match is very simple. Climb up the ladder, grab the championship, you the champion, all right? And if they've watched any game shows a day in their lives, I think that's really, really easy to understand as their first match to watch. Another reason why I picked this match is because the person isn't invested into wrestling yet, so they probably don't have the patience or the attention span nowadays to wait for a match to build up. Now, although that's a key component of a lot of my favorite matches of all time when it comes to in-ring psychology and storytelling, again, for a person who is not invested into wrestling yet, they probably aren't going to wait for those things to build up or to happen. So this match here has a ton of spots that will keep them engaged in the match. I mean, when the bell rings, as soon as the bell rings, you see the Hardys and the Dudleys jump Edge and Christian from the beginning, and we have a ton of spots that a lot of people remember. The most famous one where Edge speared Jeff Hardy when he's dangling off the title into the mat, or Jeff Hardy jumping off a ladder on the outside of the ring and landing, doing a swanton bomb on Rhino through a table, or Bubba Ray power bombs Jeff Hardy on top of Edge through a table. So many different spots to get people engaged, and I think this would be a perfect match to do that. In addition to that, I think this can also keep the conversation of wrestling is fake at bay, because they are really jumping off the ladders. They are really landing on the outside of the ring. They are really falling through tables. They are really smashing into the mat. So hopefully that'll keep that conversation at bay, and maybe that can spin into a new conversation where you're explaining to the person, hey, these wrestlers, these professional wrestlers are really putting their bodies on the line in this type of match and any other match, and maybe that'll build up their respect for what they do in the ring, which I think is a great foundation when you are watching wrestling. And speaking of conversations after the match, if they like any of these teams, any of these wrestlers, you can take them back to the Attitude Era, the great era, and have them watch things that happened back then. Or if they want to watch something more recent, if they like Edge and Christian, they can start watching AEW. If they like the Hardys, they can start watching TNA. If they like Bubba Ray Dudley, they can go and listen to Busted Open. There's so many options that they can go to after watching this match. So that's the reason I will pick that match to show to someone who has never watched wrestling a day in their lives. The other matches I had in mind was if the person wanted to watch a women's match, I would suggest Charlotte versus Becky Lynch at WWE's Evolution. But if they want to watch something with some Hollywood stars in there, maybe Rock versus Cena or Rock versus Hogan, just based off of that, nothing more, just off of that, maybe that'll be good for them. But I would love to know what match you guys would show that person. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you again, Cameron Wrestling. I appreciate that. Salute, peace, have a good day.